today. It's the Queen's birthday long weekend, so it's Monday here and it's a public holiday. And I don't actually know the name of this beach, but locally we call it Sandy Point because of that point straight ahead, which is the end of 7 Mile Beach. And it's also the end of some spectacular sand dunes. You're not going to be able to see a heap of them, but we'll go for a walk along the beach in a minute. But this spot is one of my favourites. It's one of those places that you go to when you just want to sit and reflect. And I spent a lot of time sitting on this bench with my friend Ange, who lives in Hawaii, when they were out here over summer. And even as recently as last weekend, my sister and I went for a gorgeous hike around the bluff and then went to the bakery and got lunch, late lunch, afternoon tea, and came and sat here because it's just another really tranquil spot. You can walk to this beach from where I live, but it's probably about a 40-minute walk from my house, so it's the furthest one away that's in walking distance, and I just needed to have a break from recording, so I've come down here. Hey Morgan, how are you doing, gorgeous? So glad you've joined me because it's showing off a different beach near where I live. And yeah, I meant to Google the name of it before I came down here, but we all call it Sandy Point. Like if you live locally, that's how we all refer to it. But it's just another spot. I'll try not to put them in the shot for too long, but there's people down there, kids with parents with some dogs, but it's just another really beautiful spot. It's gorgeous, isn't it? And it's so, I mean, it probably looks a lot warmer than it is. It's only 10 degrees Celsius today, but so that mountain off in the distance again, that's Mount Wellington, the one that we can see when we're walking on the beach that I live on. Can also see it from Red Ochre. Can we? I'm just thinking. And Blue Lagoon, but yeah, so this one might be Blue Lagoon actually, but anyway, let's go for a little stroll. So this is one of my favourite spots too because there's a little bench just there made from recycled plastics. And it's really lovely just to sit there and watch the sunset. The sunsets from here are beautiful. I will come down here for a sunset soon, but I've got a bit on this afternoon and tonight, so I just needed to get out and stretch my legs. But the next time I see some pink in the sky at my place, I'll come down. I've got 2 brackets to put my camera in, my phone in my car, and neither of them are working. One of them's missing a magnet and the other one just won't stick. But yeah, the next time I see a pink sunset happening, I'll come down and show everyone because it's stunning. So this point here, Sandy Point, and the sand dunes, those sand dunes actually go along for quite a long time where all those pine trees are. And when you're driving into the area where I live, that's the first sort of dramatic, well, it's not the first dramatic sight because it's all dairy and coastal down to my place, but it's like one of those moments that just takes your breath away. And in this area over here, this suburb is called, well, it's not a suburb, town is Lewisham, and that's the next sort of town to where I live. And it's mainly residential apart from a general store, service station and pub. And a little bit of an industrial park. But it's such a gorgeous day. I can't see chat at the moment because of my, I'll keep spinning around. Oh, it's just you and me still, Morgan. That's cool. Yeah, so it's really pretty. And that beautiful wintry sort of chill in the air, but the warmth from the sun still is really nice. But we haven't gone for a walk along here before, so I thought, oh, I'll do something different. Just the little gentle waves lapping up against the shore. Such a soothing sound, isn't it? So yeah, long weekend for the Queen, even though it's not actually her birthday. It's the Queen's birthday long weekend. Her birthday's in April. But for some reason we get a long weekend in June to celebrate. And it's kind of hypocritical in a way, because a lot of Australians would like Australia to become a republic. But hey, if we get a long weekend from having the Queen, we'll take it. It's a bit like the protests, you know, the Black Lives Matter protests over the weekend here for George Floyd, that were attended by a lot of Australians who don't actually give a fuck about the racism and the black lives and deaths in custody in Australia. It's kind of got a similar vibe, but obviously the latter a bit more serious than us just scoring a long weekend because we're part of the Commonwealth. It's cute little boat houses here. These ones are fairly new. Hi Anne-Marie, I'm doing great, babes. I haven't made an envelope or a card in a matching envelope yet, but I know how to, thanks to you. Hi. I'm just showing everyone a different beach near where I live. You can walk to this beach from my place, but it's probably about half an hour to get right down the end. But where we started, probably about a 45 minute walk. Hey Kylie, how you doing? Is this the back beach? Well, it's the first beach when you get out of Lewisham and are heading into where I live. It's the in-between beach. And I can walk to it from my house, but it's one of those 2.5 hour round trip kind of, if I want to walk down, come down here on foot and walk home. It's like not half a day, but it's a couple of hours. But yeah, so the ones that are really close to me, there's Park Beach, which is the surf one. Then there's Blue Lagoon, which is what you might be calling the back beach. I don't know. And then in between is Red Ochre, which we go to a lot as well. And this one the locals call it Sandy Point. But I'm not 100% sure that's the right name for it. But there's a Sandy Point right there. I hope everyone's as well too. It is, isn't the water gorgeous? It's so calm. And just getting those nice little ripple noises. And this one, when the tide goes out, there's little sandbars and things. And it almost feels like you could walk over to that point. But I haven't tested that theory out yet. How you doing?
Beautiful, hey?
Oh, it's just stunning. We're very lucky.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. But yeah, we got it on a good day. I wouldn't have brought you down here on a shitty day, although it's still lovely. But it's just so Tasmanian too. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there's beaches all over the world. But there's just something about beaches in Tassie. You just know you're in Tassie. I don't know why or what it is. Might be the light. Might be Mount Wellington. Oh, you don't have one in Queensland. So when do you have yours, Kylie? Do you have yours in April when it's actually Betty's birthday? Didn't know that. Is yours in April? See, I think the states that do have the public holiday today, it's because there's so many other ones in April already with Anzac Day and Easter. They're kind of like, let's spread it out a bit. But Tassie I think we have more long weekends than anywhere else in Australia too. Which didn't work for me when I was managing South Australia and Tassie, because very few of their public holidays are in sync. So even though it might have been a long weekend here, if it wasn't in South Australia, I'd still have to look after those clients and vice versa. Kind of got ripped off a bit. Hey, this is cute. Tell me if this reminds any of you of your childhoods. Mind you, it's at ground level now, but the old tyre swing. Kanga Blue, hey, how you doing? Yeah, yours is in April. I thought it might be. Kanga Blue, welcome. We're having a little stroll on a different beach. I really wanted to bring you guys down here because, well, it's stunning, but it's also, even though my beach where I live is my beach, the beach I live at, is great for therapy for me in terms of just clearing my head. Down here, there's a bench when I started the walk, and it's just one of those spots that, like sometimes I'd be driving home from work and it wouldn't be dark yet, and you can grab dinners from the pubs or, you know, takeaways in Sorel, like really yummy Asian, especially my favourites, dinners. And I'd sometimes just come down and sit on this beach and have dinner. Now that I've got biscuit, I'd be more likely to go home, but it's kind of my thinking spot. But when you're driving into where I live, you drive in and you see all of these sand dunes, and they go the whole way along, sort of peppered in between all the different pine trees, and it's just breathtaking. I'll try and rig up my phone in my car one day so I can do the drive in, just so that you get to see it, because it's really pretty. And to sort of get home at the end of the day and that's the first thing you see as you come into the town where you live, it's pretty specky. See if we can find any treasure washed up on the beach. On one of my walks, it was really funny. I did a treasure hunt one time and people were saying things like a plastic spoon, a straw, a toothbrush, and it's like, you will not find rubbish here, and if you do, it gets picked up and put in your pocket and taken home with you and put in your bin. But it's an incredibly clean place, Tassie generally, but especially down here. And we've got land care people who come down and comb the beaches over summer, but everyone down here is pretty respectful. I think I've only carried, I think it's a little, oh, I was going to say it's a fish, but no, it's probably a bit of a rock pole like that one. Just there where the water's breaking every now and then. I think it might just be a pile of rocks like that. Howdy, how you doing? But yeah, it's rare to find rubbish, and everyone down here kind of lives with the rule of three. You know, you take 3 items of rubbish home with you, but I swear to God, I reckon it's only been once in nearly 6 years I've found 3 pieces of rubbish on the beach. And it's stuff that's washed up, it's not rubbish that's just been dumped. Although the other day on that walk at Red Oak, we went into that little cave. There were some plastic drink bottles in there. But it's unusual. Let's walk out on all the little sandbars. It's so lovely here. There's quite a few more people down here than I thought too. Alright, first sandbar. Serenity B, hello. How's your long weekend going? We're on a different beach today. We're on an outing. So this is another beach down where I live, Serenity Bay, but it's the one that's furthest away from my house and probably would take maybe 40 minutes to walk down here. But I wanted you to see it because I love it. And it's just got another vibe to it again. Do you do any fishing sometimes? Anywhere to pump yabbies? It is beautiful. Look at, I'll do a little pan for you. I went fishing a lot as a kid, especially for flathead and flounder. But I haven't gone fishing in a long time. I mean, I've got friends who've got boats down here, so possibly, but yabbies aren't generally a thing down here. But things like, I mean, we've got amazing seafood, but it seems more like fishing out in the ocean and getting flathead, skimming the shallows like here, going floundering. I don't know if there's flounder here. The Dodgers Ferry jetty, which I was at yesterday with some friends of mine, we walked down there with their dog and another puppy to let them have a swim. And it was so funny because Jaime, the Rottweiler, who's a puppy but big, was scared of these little ripples. They weren't much bigger than this. And then Ralphie, the other dog, Lab Retriever, was out, you know, having the time of his life. Mind you, his dad was out in the water with him. Roger was out in his shorts in really, I mean, I don't know how cold the water is, but yeah, you lose the sensation in your feet now, put it that way. But there's a lot of fishing that happens off there, but it's also a boat ramp, so a lot of fishermen leave from there. And they were coming back with all kinds of hauls. But there's also a little gummy shark nursery at my beach and also the beach we're at, or near the boat ramp. And unfortunately, sometimes, well, it's not unfortunate because they can put them back. Well, they're still alive, obviously, but yeah, sometimes they get a lot of gummy sharks, which isn't cool. But there's a lot of fishing down here. Lots of people have boats. But I'd love to go out and do some fishing because I love flathead. And God, as kids, we couldn't give the shit away, and now it's like 38 bucks a kilo. And it's my favourite fish. Oops, I have that woman, I didn't realise she was there. No, there's a little bridge. I was going to jump. I'll just go through the water. I own lots of really crappy old pairs of sneakers. My audio's a bit crackly. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know how to fix that. It might have been my feet crackling on the sand, perhaps. Sorry about that. Some houses up there that have got some pretty nice views. I just don't know what to do with this lady. Is here with her papa. But yeah, I mean, you're probably starting to see maybe a little bit more of the sand dunes. Let's have a look at it. It's like a painting. So we're walking now this little, I was going to say rivulet. It's a bit bigger than a rivulet. This little cove or inlet. On this side, on the right hand side, is Lewisham, and then this side is the back side of 7 Mile Beach. So there's a beach on the other side that is literally 7 miles long, and anyone who's ever flown into Tassie, the planes come in over the water and you think the plane's going to land in the water. Well, they actually come in over 7 Mile Beach. So the airport's down the other end of that beach. Pearl perch. I've heard of perch. It is a bit like a lake kanga. So in this little neighbouring seaside town of Lewisham, it's even smaller than where I live. It has a pub, a general store slash service station, and it's even got its own little industrial park. So there's a few, you know, like panel beaters, mechanics, probably a little farm supplies shop, and that's about it. And both Lewisham and the town where I live and the one further down the coast from us, well, there's two further down, three actually, all basically go into Sorell, which is the biggest town outside of Hobart, and that's where all the main services are. But where I am, we've got a bottle shop, a general store, a service station, like a service station pumps out the front of the general store, post office, a couple of salons, fish and chip shop, bottle shop, pub. Hey Save Robbie, how you doing, gorgeous? I'm showing off another beach where I live. So to give you perspective, my place is that way. If we took a massive run and leap and got up in the air and then went over that tree line, we'd land on the beach where I live. We'd probably bounce. Actually, we'd probably land on Red Ochre and then we'd have to bounce and then go over the bluff and then we'd land on the beach where I live. Good, mate. How are you doing? I think I've got a video of Sandra I have to watch at some point. I've been recording all day and it sucks because I get notifications that they're on silent, but I'm like, oh, I want to watch things. It's like, just do your recording. How you doing? So yeah, I'm being kind of disciplined by going for my daily walk as opposed to watching YouTubey things. Yeah, it is different. Again, so the 4 beaches, the 3 that are in really good walking distance, like close walking distance of my place, are all, well, Red Ochre and Blue Lagoon are kind of similar. Obviously Park Beach where I am is a surf beach, and then this is also in walking distance of my house but a bit further. Like, this is kind of the summer's afternoon come for a walk down. I mean, I generally, if it's a summer, I'm usually on my beach with my boogie board, but yeah, it's a bit of a hike. It's not a casual stroll. See how much further along here you can get, and then I'll about turn. It was just nice to show you this because it's sort of heading into Lewisham, which is the next little town. I don't even know if they are a town. How many houses do you have to be called a town? It's really beautiful though. It's quite pricey, Lewisham, but they don't have a lot of public access down onto the beach. And if there is a beach, it's kind of like this. Like, that's it. A lot of the houses have the beach access, but it's not really a beach. So I mean, as much as I love it, if you've got a little jetty and a little boat, it could be fun. But yeah, if you were going to a beach, this is kind of what you'd be on. How pretty is that? It's a little painting right there. Little dinghy. I don't quite get the point of this. Is this like a retaining wall? It's not, because it's not like, I suppose, is this where people use? It's it seriously looks like a car park for dinghies. Just imagine a heap of them all just parked next to each other. It's kind of weird. Those tyres, you'll see a few tyres, they're not, it's not litter, they're actually used for moorings. So don't freak out and think it's the used tyre beach of doom. But yeah, I don't know what that is. No, I don't think it is to stop sand erosion. Because, I mean, there's the, like it's, I don't know. I mean, I could study it, but we don't have, I mean, the sand erosion normally would be, you know, more up the top and it all coming down and more cliff-like. This is fairly, I mean, that could be the most intelligent suggestion. But why just in this particular spot? And it's not like where I am, where we've got full dunes and houses built right on the edges. Like, the houses aren't anywhere near the edges. Oh my God, there's another one of those funky retro looking agaves. I still haven't grabbed those pups from near my house. I can't wait to have one of those in my garden. I was actually excited about having two, and then I showed them to my sister, and Ange and I've got this thing which we call rule of two. So when we were sorting through all of my parents' stuff, whenever there were two items that were identical, we used to play this game when we were sorting through it. I was like, oh well, rule of two. Even though we've got a brother. But sometimes we'd find three things and we'd be like, rule of three. And we'd all end up with these shitty things we didn't want. They all ended up going to the salvos anyway, but it was kind of a game to keep us entertained. Hi Stacey Marie, how are you, gorgeous? It could be, I'm having a look back there now, Kangaroo, you could be right, because it's kind of the narrowest bit of exposed sand at the moment. But yeah, it's just weird. Because they're all neatly, there's all these neat individual spaces to park a boat. I'm wondering if when the tide comes in, if that would actually be full of boats. I don't know. Americana agave? The yellow and green one. Where is it? That one. That one's a bit ratty and tatty. The one I googled it, I don't think it was Americana. It was no, my clipboard's in the way. Hang on. So weird. I don't think it was called Americana, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it's called in the States. I love it. It's so retro. So what I'm going to do is grab the two pups that are in the street near my house and put them both into a pot. And then when they're a bit, well, my sister's coming down on Friday, so I'll give her one then. Or maybe actually, I might wait till she comes down. That can be our little adventure. We can go and pinch the pups. And then when you plant them in the soil, they start germinating and more pups follow. And I'd love to have them all the way along my fence line. Getting ready for bed. So it's so, I mean, well, it's not weird. I mean, I'm aware of time zones, but it's always so weird. It's like, it's nice that you popped in, Stacey Marie. How are things with you? How are things with that whole YouTube community I don't visit anymore? I sure did. I did visit the baby born, or whatever they're called, reborn, because I was a bit curious. Oh, we're getting down to not much sand left at all. Sorry, a bit of splodging. I don't think we can get much further. But how cool is it? So cool. And then we've got a little jetty here, and I noticed before some people were walking, there's appears to be a footpath that goes up there. You can't keep up. Well, if you can't, we're screwed. It's probably best we all don't know, Stacey Marie. Jymea lilies. Okay, I'll check them out. The only problem with, did you know that the lily family, they're all toxic to cats? My sister gave me the most beautiful bunch of lilies the other day, and I was like, oh, they're toxic to the feline. And she had no clue, neither did I. And then Biscuit only likes the paper anyway, so we took the paper off and gave her that. And then about 5 days later, I was reading that even the water that the lilies have been in is really bad. And I was like, oh shit, that paper was wet. But anyway, she's still with us, so let's go up here. So there's the rest of the little beach. So straight ahead is Lewisham. And then, yeah, they're not as dramatic because there's more that are visible when you drive into where I live. But there's the sand dunes at the back of 7 Mile Beach. There's Mount Wellington beyond there. Cycads are poisonous to dogs. Well, then my sister was in stitches because she gave me a cyclamen the other day, and they're also poisonous to cats. It's like, shit, I've just spent $1,200 saving Biscuit's life. I don't want to be back paying the vet more anytime soon, at least until I've got some more money saved. Although she's got to go back for another appointment on the 19th, and that'll be another $700. That one's native, so maybe it could be. She doesn't get out in the garden anyway. But I want to show you this. I can't go up there, but the people that have built this little jetty, and it's super organised. They've got their boat. They've got more steps going down there. But have a look at this. They've put in like a little track all the way up to their house, and then presumably the council's built that little bridge. So cute. We'll go up here because I want to check out that plant. Now this is another succulent that I love, pig's ear. And then there's some other succulents as well. No, they're not, Kanga. They're not cheap at all. But yeah, this pig's ear, I've got it at my place, and I've got the most amazing electric pink florals. I've got heaps of succulents like these ones too. But I love pig's ear, and it spreads. I've got these ones as well. Let's go along here. It's a cute shack. I love that the shacks down here are shacks. They're not McMansions. Look at that view. How pretty. But yeah, all these people have got these shacks, and they're, you know, they're keeping them minimalistic, simple little beachside houses, and they've all got these $1 million views. There's a lot of succulents that grow in this area, and everyone goes on succulent raiding missions. Pig face, yep. Did I call it something else? Did I call it pig's ear? I hope I said pig face. But yeah, so a lot of gardens have been established from what are technically wild growing succulents. Okay. Thank you. I love your dog.
Yeah. She jumped on you and hurt you.
Oh, okay. Just a little staffy fighter. Ah, right. She's very cute. Oh, there's a heap of them. There's a heap of them. I mean, I love them. They're monsters. But I've got 3/4 of an acre and lots of corners to fill. This one's a bit scruffy as well. They get a bit feral. They remind me of Little Shop of Horrors. But again, look at these views. Huge. But there's some up near my place that are tiny. You'd go nuts. Yeah, it's crazy, Kang. Honestly, like, bless. There's a couple of people down here that sell succulents, and it's like, they've got to be different to what people can pick up. I mean, I picked up the pig face. Just at the top of my street, or sorry, the bottom of my street, just where at the top of the sand dunes, and put that in my garden, and it's just gone off. I've got this huge circle of it, and then I've planted some black succulents around, and it's very dramatic looking, but yeah, you would go nuts. It looks like an variegated, yep, agave, American marginata. Yeah, I did Google it. I think it's got a different name here, but you guys might be right. Yeah, Americana. It's agave, isn't it? I saw agave something, but I can't remember what the something was. But I love them. And they're everywhere here. They're on the bluff. This is interesting. By the guidance of a kind providence, we were able to shape our course towards some fires which some persons had made who saw our perilous situation. Princess Royal. The first 200 free female settlers transported on board the Princess Royal from London, doggy, on 12th April 1832 to Hobart Town, arrived unceremoniously and in some distress when grounded at China Creek, Dodges Ferry. So this must be China Creek. A bit different to the Ruby Princess, but still a wreck. Sorry, I was reading. And so after an arduous 5-month journey from London to Van Diemen's Land, they rounded Cape Pillar on 21st of August. They were tossed around in wild weather for 2 days before being swept by currents across Storm Bay. With sails torn to shreds, Captain Joseph Grimwood had no alternative but to seek a lee shore anchorage in Frederick Henry Bay. So the bay out there, and when we're on the surf beach, that's Frederick Henry Bay. And my sister lives on it too, but over on the other side where the land is over there. During the night, the mighty storm continued to rage, causing the ship to drag, and eventually all the anchors were broken away. The next day they were set adrift and heading dangerously towards the shore at the mercy of the wind and waves. Local ferryman Ralph Dodge, aware of their plight, organised warning fires to guide them away from the treacherous rocky outcrops, and after 4 big bumps they came to rest on the sandy flats of Pittwater Estuary near China Creek. No lives were lost, but many on board were injured. After camping on shore for a week, the women were ferried to Hobart Town on the 30th of August. The Princess Royal was refloated on the 6th of September and returned to England some months later. There you go. And they've got like a little plan of the ship. Bit of a map happening there, and there's the little arrow. So with Pittwater, and then that's, what was it? China Creek. Huh. And this is the beach that I'm on over this side. North Bay. it was called back then what we call Sandy, well, this is area we call Sandy Point, but it looks like its name is North Bay. And then we've got Marianne Moore nee Mortimer, 16, shed, birth 45, with her sister Sarah, 21. She married Samuel Bradley at St David's Church in Hobart. They had 5 children and later settled in Portland, Victoria. And then this is Anne Maria Gibson, who was 18, shared a cabin with 15-year-old Susanna Tyrrell. They had 9 children. And look, here's the names of all the women that were on the ship. There's no one on the ship with my family name, or my mum's, or my dad's mum. But far out, look at them all. That's really lovely that they're all named. 1832. What are the chains? They'd be from the ship, I would imagine. They're part of the Princess Royal. Your artistic skills with succulent arrangement. I think with succulents, it's kind of just stick one in a pot and there you go, you know? Oh, look, there's a couple of cormorants down there having a little paddle. No, I've just got it ready to give the clipboard again. Yeah, so the chains, I think, are actually from the Princess Royal, that they were the first 200 free female settlers. Can you hear the sulphur-crested cockies? Can you see them up in the tree? Hang on. See them? Noisy fuckers. Noisy fuckers. Gorgeous though, and they're destructive as hell. Although I have them at my place and everyone's like, don't encourage them, they'll ruin your place. They don't. They're very respectful. The cockies were having a bit of fun. I think they knew I was live and they just wanted to be noticed. But one of them sounded like he just said, hello. Something's upset them. Yeah, me not paying them any attention. Oh, who'd live anywhere else, honestly? It's quite incredible. We've got, well, they've gone now, but there were 2 cormorants paddling down there. There's a historical plaque here with chains from that ship that ran aground in 1832 with the first 200 free women that were brought to Tassie, all on a little stroll in my neighbourhood. Oh, there's Barry. Barry's come over to say g'day. Bazzo. Some really cute little shacks, but I don't want to point my camera on them in case the one that I point my camera on, there are people inside who aren't going to be pleased with me. They were eating the house here, wooden window. Yeah, I've heard TV cables. I've heard that. I've heard that because I had a few on my deck and I took a photo of them and people were like, no. Don't encourage them. They will eat your house. Well, they didn't say eat, they said they'll destroy it. Judging from what you're saying, Kanga, they will. But they've been fine. It's a bit of a treat when a cockie's on my balcony, on my deck. I get heaps of galahs, eastern rosellas, the black parrots with the yellow spotted cheeks, minor birds, kookaburras, some, oh shit, what are they called? Rosella, not rosellas, corellas, is it? But yeah, the cockies are a bit of a treat. Bazzy, you old stop it, exactly. Slutting his butt all over the place. There's a few plovers down on the beach too, which Tassie plovers love the beach, but they're really, really protective of their nests, and they swoop. And they've got, you know, poison-tipped wings, and they're really cute though. They're babies. They're like little pom-poms with feet. Black cockatoos, yeah, they've got yellow. They're jet black with yellow, perfect yellow circles where their cheeks are, or would be if they had cheeks. I think they might be called a yellow spotted. No, they're not. I think they are actually called a black cockatoo. And they're huge. They are huge. They're like, it sounds ridiculous, but they're like koalas. I mean, they're not fat like a koala, but when they're up in the trees, yeah, they're big. And they're meant to be a sign of rain, but it's a crock. Look at that cute little boathouse. That could be, so I reckon this is China Creek. I reckon the ship got shipwrecked here somewhere. Plovers, meanies. Well, they're just very protective. That house is cute up there. Let's go up this track. I haven't been up here before. I'll let the people on the beach do their thing. That's another floral. Mine is similar to that in colour in my garden on pig face. Yeah, they do. I think the ones here have yellow on their tails too, but you could only see it underneath the tail. Like, if they're sitting in a tree and their tail's pointing down to the ground, you can't see it. But if they fly over you, they've got like yellow tips on the underside of their feathers on their tails. Does that sound similar? Oh, now the track's splitting, I think. We can go the civilised way. We can go the goat track. You guys know me. We're going the goat track. I love that the only sound, I seriously do love it, is that boat out there. Well, there's two boats. It's actually three. But that yacht wouldn't be making much noise. It's the two little speedboats going around the point. Thanks for coming with me on this little walk. I've still got a way to go yet to get home, but I'll get back to my car. And then I'm going to go and grab some bits and pieces for dinner and keep recording and edit. Well, I've recorded my show. I've just got to finish editing it and then move on to this week's episode of Smooth Criminal, which is a hoot. It's a hoot. It's one of the funnier ones I've done. I try to make them all funny, but this one's very funny. I don't think anyone actually listens to my podcast. I need to do a course. When I finish the course, I'm nearly finished. Oh my God, I'm so close. I'm going to start actually watching and paying attention to all the emails I get about how to promote your podcast, how to get people listening to it, because it's a lot of work and I'd love people to listen to it, but I know a few people do, but I'd like a few more too. I'm not big on self-promotion. I kind of feel like just putting it out there, and if people discover it and they enjoy it, then that's cool. Oh, death trap. What's for tea? Well, I'm Not sure. I had a look in my fridge and I've got lots of veggies. I just need to grab some protein, but probably some fish. I was actually going to go live and cook, but I'm now part of a huge online... I've got a really munted ankle and I just landed on it. And luckily no one saw me landing because that was bad. I mean, I didn't fall over. But yeah, these are coastal daisies poking through the pig face. It's called, Kylie listens, thank you darling, it's Smooth Criminal. So it's on every podcast platform except Spotify because I refuse to pay them for extra storage. It pisses me off. Like, every podcasting platform on the planet is free because my podcast is on a website called Acast, which is the largest podcasting platform there is. And mine ended up there by chance because I was on a little independent, very kind of, what's the word? We weren't mainstream platform, but it got bought by Acast. So I was on a little platform called Pippa. But, yeah, Spotify make you pay for storage for them to store your podcast. And I'm like, nah. Almost went ass up. It was more the way I landed. I landed really badly on it. Like, I couldn't sort of, I can't really describe how I landed, but it looked bad. And now I'm thinking, why did you do that? But there's also the Smooth Criminal podcast channel on YouTube, which that's probably got about 130 subscribers. So yeah, I have got a little YouTube channel for it if people prefer doing shit on YouTube. I prefer it. I think, even though it's integrated on so many different platforms, I always get the YouTube notification before anything else. And I do cover other stuff on my channel, so people who are following me on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or whatever, and again, it's more about me not promoting it very well, but I'm following the whole saga of the Ruby Princess cruise ship. I've got a little series called The Wreck of the Ruby Princess, and that's on the YouTube channel. So yeah, I need to sort my shit out. But when the Ruby Princess stuff wraps up in August or September, I'll be looking for something else in Australia to cover. Imagine if I had gone ass up and knocked myself out and I was still live. I need to have a shot of the sand. And you'd have to call, not 911, but 000, and you'd be like, look, she's at a place called Sandy Point, but apparently it's not called that because we looked at a map on a historical thing about a ship with princess in the name, but it wasn't the Ruby Princess, it was the other princess. And they talked about North Bay and China Creek. Can you just find her? Look at that gorgeous wood. I love driftwood. Friends of mine, very cleverly, one of them's a pilot who flew over a lake one day and he was like, I wonder what's under the water. And it was a man-made lake, like it was a flooded lake. And they set up a business to retrieve all the wood from under the water, and it's called hydro wood because it was a dam that was created by Hydro Tasmania for generating electricity. And it's beautiful because it's just so beautifully aged. There's lots of Smooth Criminal. Yeah, but mine's Smooth Criminal Podcast is the name of my channel. It's a black icon with white handcuffs, but it's actually called Smooth Criminal Podcast. I did that deliberately. There's a shitload of people doing covers of Smooth Criminal, and some of them feature in my show. The copyright free ones do anyway. That'd be a funny phone call. I'll be up to you, Kylie. I reckon chat would be like, Kylie, that job is yours. And yeah, you'd have to help them find me. It was the way I landed, like my leg was straight and I landed with my leg straight, but my body was like on a, say if I'm sticking my hands out like that, like a 90-degree angle, my body was like on a 45-degree angle with my head pointing at the ground. And then I kind of had to stand up like a robot. It was interesting. I'm not painting a very glorious picture of myself. I do want to show you though before I head off. God, the sun's divine. My favourite shack. They were home one day and I knocked on the door and said, "You found it, woohoo! Well done, Kangaroo." I said to them, "If you ever decide to sell, can you call me?" And I said, "And I know I'm probably in a really long line." And they were like, "You are on a bit of a line." I said, "Yeah, well, I'm nice. Bump me up a couple of places." And I didn't. No pain. I've always got pain. It's the ankle I've got tendonitis in. I can't wait to actually go and see a doctor and get on with some proper exercises and stuff. I haven't been able to see or get a referral to go and see a person to fix it because my doctor's only doing telehealth appointments and she won't refer me without seeing it. It's painful as. I put Tiger Balm on it and it makes it feel better while I fall asleep, and I've been putting magnesium on it some nights too, and that doesn't really feel like it's doing anything. But I shouldn't jump from great heights onto it. It's not smart. Howdy.
Hello.
So up there, can I zoom in without these people? There's people everywhere. Shit. Go away, keyboard. Can you see there the black house with the flat roof and the white window frames? I grew up in a house like that as a kid at a beach about 20 minutes south of Hobart. There's chicks looking straight at me thinking I'm pointing it at her, which I kind of am, but yeah, so that shack, the black one, yeah, I think they are doing face-to-face soon. I've got an appointment to see my GP in July, and I'm pretty sure it'll be face-to-face. But I don't think there's much you can do about tendonitis except exercise and stuff. Oh, your little man was born club foot. Well, I'm glad he's all good now, but weak ankles. Oh, I hope he doesn't end up with tendonitis though, because I didn't know what tendonitis was. But it's caused by injuries that you sustain as children. Hey, there's a golf ball. There's going to be an unhappy puppy somewhere that forgot to take their ball with them. Yeah, tendonitis is like caused by injuries that you had as a kid that they didn't treat like they would treat an adult injury. So you kind of, because you're still growing. But yeah, see the black shack? I won't go any closer. You've got the one up the hill a little bit. But yeah, it's my favourite. And it's really simple. It's got a really beautiful, where the white windows are, it's got a really gorgeous sunroom. And then it's got 2 little bedrooms. And then at the back there's the kitchen, laundry, bathroom and a little backyard. It's so simple. I love it. But I might go, Groovers. I'm glad to hear your little man's better now. You get in your 50s primarily. That's directly connected to issues that you had with joints. And like my brother had arthroscopies as a kid, like he was 17. And I think with him, I think with arthroscopies though, that's probably a bad example because I think they are the same for kids and for adults. But I actually snapped my Achilles tendon as a kid. And the treatment wasn't, like I wasn't in a cast or anything. I was walking on again it too quickly, you know, like it. Had surgery and cast. Now he runs like the clever. So good. Does he play sport to strengthen it? Yeah, and he probably sounds probably a bit daggy, but he might even benefit from ballet or bar exercises because you do so much stretching of your tendons. And that, you know, like I do bar and I do yoga, but I can't do bar at the moment without it causing me a heap of pain because a lot of it is like going up on your tippy toes and then holding it for ages. So there's a new yoga studio opening down here next week. I'm so excited. They've been building it while we've all been in self-isolation. It's the coolest thing. They're like, oh, well, while everyone's just chilling at home, let's just build a yoga studio down here. It's good. Oh, see, swimming, yeah, awesome. I don't know why Kanga posted all of those scary faces. Anyway, guys, I'll give you one last view. Hopefully the sun in your face isn't as bad as it is in mine, but how beautiful is it? Thank you so much for coming on this walk and discovering another beautiful part of where I live. Over the next 20 years, I'm going to show you every single part of Tasmania. But I've got to say, I take great pleasure even just showing you my little corner, or the little corner of the state where I live. It's a very pretty island, and so many people comment when they come down here, they're like, didn't realise there'd be so many beaches and so much water. It's like, we're on an island. But we have got a lot of rivers and bays, and yeah, there is a lot of water, even like inlets and so on. Creeks, all kinds of things. But thanks for hanging out. It was so lovely to have you all with me. And yeah, one last view. I will bring you down here for a sunset soon, and enjoy your evenings wherever you may get up to, and stay groovy. See you soon. I have to look this way because I can't see how to end it. Take it easy too, Kyles. Bye everybody.